Welcome. This is Kevin Davis with a presentation on the art of film study. I believe that film study is very important to the development of not just our athletes but also coaching staffs to understand how to prepare for games and how to prepare for opponents. Um, Strategically getting mental reps in preparation for games. So again, my name is Coach Kevin Davis. This is a little bit of background on me. Um, I played college ball at Eureka, where I'm in the Hall of Fame. I have 10 years of DC experience at multiple locations. I'm part of FCA Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I'm 3D coaching certified. So there's just a little background on me, really quickly here. So film study. Why is film study important, right? So we coaches, right? We believe in preparing for every game through watching film and watching opponents, and it gives us an advantage. Sometimes gives us an advantage or helps us with that preparation for whatever opponent that we're going to face. But it's also a great idea to get your athletes in the habit of also being great students of the game by studying film. Film is the X factor, in my opinion, to whether you're going to have a great team or a mediocre team, or um, what can push you over the edge against some opponents based on what you see on film, what you catch on film, and what you can implement effectively on the football field. So for me, and this is mostly for athletes, film study. For film study, you should limit highlight watching, right? In my opinion, should be 2 days max for your athletes to watch film, and there should be 2 days after the game, the 2 days after the game, to watch film of their highlights and what they did so great. Because we know kids, they want to see their highlights, they want to see what they did the best. They want to show off to their friends and family what they did. So you don't want to take this aspect away from them as far as watching film and highlighting, but you do want to limit it, right? So give them the 2 days after a game to maximize their highlight watching. So if a game's on Friday, they'll get Saturday and Sunday to watch it. If the game's on Saturday, they'll get Sunday and Monday to watch it, and so on. So just 2 days right after the game is where they should focus most of their highlight watching or seeing themselves do great things. Beyond that, they should give much time as possible learning how to fix things and correct things and prepare for the next game. So, in my opinion, when it comes to film study, there's three different levels of film study. The first level for me is the ceiling, right? It's the bird's eye view. So this is when you turn on a play on your huddle or whatever system you use to watch film. You turn on your play. What do you see? What do you see soon without doing anything? The first play, not even the first play, but any play. When you click on a play, what do you see without hitting play? And we'll get into detail what that is. Then you have the floor level. That's when you press play. What do you get? What do you see when you press play? And then the basement level, what gives you that competitive advantage? And I think this part, the basement level of film study, is key for our athletes to understand how they should prepare for the game, right? Because we coaches, we do the analyzing, the breakdown of the team and the schemes and things like that. But the competitive advantage is how can the player get the best benefit when going against whoever he's going against on that Friday or Saturday? How can they get the best out of that situation or that competition? So the ceiling level, right? The bird's eye view, right? Before you hit play, what do you see? So the things that you want to look for before you hit play are things that we coaches would look for, right? We would look for the offensive formation of personnel, the down and distance, receiver alignment, running back alignment, quarterback alignment, tight end, etc. Right? What do we see before we do anything? What are they in? What are they presenting? So as far as formation of personnel, what I always tell or teach is that you base whatever you see the opponent do based off what you do in your offense or defense. So for instance, if I call a 2-by-2 formation in with an offset running back, if I call that burger, okay, if I call that burger in my offense, then when I see another team run it, I'm gonna call it burger because it gives me and it gives the students a reference of what this team is doing. They're running the same formation that we run. So I will always categorize it based off what we run. Now, if we don't run it, I will. There's multiple ways you can categorize it, right? So, for instance, you can do it by personnel. So, um, if it's a 2x2 with offset back, that's a 10 personnel, one running back, no tight ends, right? So 10 personnel, you can call it 10 personnel. Some athletes don't understand that personnel, because they have to be taught that personnel scheme. But coaches may understand what a 10 personnel is, or 11 personnel, or 20 personnel. So I will call it by that if it's not in our offense or vice versa defense. Now, if I don't understand personnel, then I'll call it what I see, right? If I see two receivers on each side, I'll call it a 2x2, right? 2x2, 3x1 if there's a trip set, or if I know to call it trips, I'll call it trips, or you want to call it doubles if it's 2x2. It's what wording or classification that you can get people to understand what it is, right? But it has to be consistent across the board. You don't want to vary on what that is across the board. So on defensive side, so once we hit play, I'm sorry, the bird's eye view, the ceiling level, same thing. Defense formation, what stunts you can see before you hit play. Like some people like to show their stunts or their things before they play, or you can tell before you play what coverage they're going to play against this offense. So what do you see prior to hitting play? And then the linebacker, DB alignment, D-line techniques is all you want to pay attention to before you hit play on a ceiling level or film study. Now, the floor level, so the base level, this is when you hit play, man. What do you see when you hit play? And we all know what we're going to see with play. We're going to see whether it's a run or a pass offensively, where is offensive play, the routes, the pre-snap adjustments. You can probably see the motions, the hard count, if there's a hard count, things like that. What do you see once you hit play? So you be able to analyze the play and what indicators you can get out of it to defend for your defense to defend that offense, and vice versa on the defensive side of the process. When you hit play, like what stunt did they run? What was the actual stunt? They showed you something on your bird's eye view or your ceiling level, but what happened once you push play? All right, so you can put the two together and say, okay, they showed this, but they did this, and then you go to another play and see if they do the same thing and make necessary adjustments based on that, right? And then you got the coverage adjustments, the actual holes in coverage. If they roll their coverages, what opens up? If they don't roll it, what's there? If they don't roll it. Pass drops by linebackers and D-line shifts you want to see once the play starts. Now, this is the bread and butter of film study. It's the basement level film study that I call it, and it's the giveaways, the positional based giveaways. So this is what we call the competitive advantage. So anything that gives you or the athlete a competitive advantage against your opponent, this is what you're looking for on a basement level. This is very important for the actual athlete, and this is where I think a lot of coaches are focused on getting athletes to look at who they're going to be facing in the next game, that person across from them, and what is he doing that I can pick apart to say, if he does that, I'm going to do this. If he does this, I'm going to do that. What gives me the upper hand on defeating the person that's right across from me? And that's the key to being a successful team, is learning that aspect of the game. So anything that gives you a competitive advantage is what we're looking for here on the basement level film study. So if you're looking at an offense, you want to look at the stance of the person. So if a running back is leaning forward like he's coming downhill, maybe he's going to get the ball and run it, right? If he's sitting back on his heels and he's just like lackadaisical, maybe it's a pass set or he's not getting the ball. Quarterback eyes, where his eyes are going. The lineman stands, like if their stance differentiates based on pass or run, what's the difference? What's their first step? How do they move? the quarterback. Where is his eyes? Where does how does his head move? What is his body movement when he hands the ball off compared to when he throws it, or when he goes right compared to when he goes left? What are you seeing from the quarterback? Is he reading his? Does he read his safeties well, or does he just his eyes go direct to where he wants to go? Again, lineman hand position, first step, etc. On the defensive side, things like the stance again, D-line power stance, if they stance is lazy, linebacker stance if it's lazy, or if it's a solid stance where he's going to come downhill 100% of the time or a lot of the time, or if he's back on his heels, he's going to pass drop or he's passive aggressive. Reading those things clearly based off of what you're seeing and what you're going to go against. The defensive movement, are they retreating immediately? Are they pressing? Are they using their hands? Are their hands wide? Or is their feet slow? Is their feet fast? Do they open up the right way? Do they open up the wrong way? Based on a head nod or things like that you can give them to throw them off. The safety reads, how is a safety reading the quarterback, or is a safety even reading the quarterback? Linebacker key reads, are they reading the running back or the line? Or are they just out there playing free? Tackling angles you want to see on D-line pressures and hand places when they come off the ball. Their power steps coming off the ball. Definitely, again, hand placement. Are they wide with their hands? Are they quick with their hands? Are they chest bumping with their, So what gives me an advantage? So if I know that if he does this, if this D lineman hands are wide, how as a low lineman I can keep my hands tight and go directly into his chest and solidify that block. So those are the type of things you want to get at the basement level. This basement level, in my opinion, is the most important aspect from a team being good to a team being great, because this gives the player the onus and the responsibility to make sure he's prepared for the game. The other levels, the ceiling level, the floor level, that's great for coaches. If kids learn that and understand like formations and what they're going to run on certain plays, awesome. We want to get them to that level. That'd be great, but it's really geared towards coaches. That floor level more towards players and coaches, and then this competitive advantage is for everybody. But strongly on the player side, because we as coaches, we're not out there playing. Let's be realistic. Those kids are out there, and no matter what we call or scheme, we can put them in the best position. They have to be prepared to do the job. And being prepared to do the job is by knowing who you're going against and what their mistakes are and what their strengths are and how I can exploit both. Right? That's the key to the basement level of film study. And so there's a golden rule in my film study philosophy when I'm watching film. So I look at percentages because I do analytical work, but the golden rule when watching film and seeing somebody doing something correctly or incorrectly is, if you see it one time, it's an anomaly, right? It happened. We watch more plays and we don't see him really do that again. It was probably just a mistake, anomaly on his part. If you see it twice, it becomes a tendency. Right, he has a tendency to do something. Depending on the situation or the position or where we're on the field, he has a tendency to always he has a tendency to do this certain thing. It might not be always, but if it's something that gives you a competitive advantage, even a few plays, it's something you want to look at. Now, if he does something, if the player you're going against does something more than 3 times, it becomes a habit. They have a habit of doing this. They have like quarterback has a habit of staring down his receivers on pass. The running back has a habit of being flat on his feet when he doesn't get the ball and giving us that key. The DB has a habit of opening up the wrong way. Those are indicators where this is something now that it's not just we notice this. It's something that we should work on exploiting. Now it's something that we should absolutely work on saying he's going to do this. So this is how we're going to react. And this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to play this. So that's the golden rule in film study. So 1 time is an anomaly, 2 times is a tendency, and 3 times it becomes a habit. All right, so you want to break to focus on those and exploit those habits. Tendencies too. If tendencies is enough, then we wanna lock on tendencies as well. Anomalies, we can he did it, but I don't think it's something we need to truly focus on. We can move forward on that. So let's look at a couple plays here. I'm gonna point out a few things now. Looking at this film, we're only gonna do two films, two per, um, just gonna do a couple here, just these 1A and 1B here. Um, but the thing is that we're gonna focus on something. Now, these things can be habits, or it can be anomalies, or it can be tendencies. So we only seeing two plays. No, two times is a tendency, right? So we haven't got to a habit. Habit comes with watching more film, but in the interest of time, we're just going to limit it to a couple plays. So here we're going to focus on a couple people. We can focus on the running back, the quarterback, and let's focus on the linebacker as well. And just see if you can see anything here that you just want to just take a look at and just be like, okay, let me look at this and see what I'm seeing here. Right, so he runs out. Let's play it again. And I can tell you what I'm noticing, right? And so play it one more time, and then I can tell you what I'm noticing here. I'm noticing, and it doesn't mean it's a habit or a tendency or anything. It's just something that I will write down and mark. Say, okay, he did that. All right. So one thing I noticed is that the quarterback looks certain directions first or second, right? Right here you see him look right, and then he'll look left. All right. Also, I'm looking at the running back stance here, and I want to analyze his stance, right? So see how he's a little bit there. There's no pressure on him thinking that he's going to get this ball hand out run. You can even tell by running the play that there's no interest in doing anything, right? Just based off his stand, his position. But then let's go to the linebacker as well. You see his power stance, head forward, hips down. I'm thinking he's going to power run, but look where his eyes are. The linebacker's eyes. His eyes are in the backfield. He's clearly looking in the backfield. He's not key reading. Well, let me not say he's not key reading. His key is a backfield. And I'm not sure he truly gave the key, took the right read here, even though he's in the right position. I'm not sure he took this the correct read here. Right, but let's look at those things. So you see those three positions. You see things that I just pointed out about them. Now they could be something, they could be nothing, right? But that's the point of watching film, to figure out there's something or there's nothing. So we just saw the quarterback look right, look left. But if you go to the next play, let's go to the next play here. Next play here, it's another run. I put them in order for run. So see, he look right, he looks left. Play direction went right. Okay. Last play direction, he looked left. He looked right, then left. The play direction went right. Okay. So for me, I would think of that as, okay, maybe that's a tendency that he looks away and he looks towards where the ball's going and then away of the play where he's going. Now, I could be right or wrong. Again, that's why we watch more film, to get that competitive advantage and that tendency. Could be right or wrong. But also, now watch the running back stance on this play. He has a forward lean. You see that forward lean right there? Now, I think the last play when he didn't get the ball, he wasn't like that. He didn't have that forward. He didn't rock that lean. But now that he's getting the ball, he rocks and leans. Okay. We might have something there, right? We might have something there. And then if I go to the linebacker here, you'll see his eyes are still in the backfield. That's just to me. That's just a habit, right? He just has a habit of reading his key, or that's the way he was taught to read his key. And as an offensive coach, you can exploit that. You can exploit that key read, or you can not exploit that key read. So that's that. So I think here we have a pass play. So he watch. So quarterback, watch what he does. He looks right. He looks left now, and then right. Let's see where the ball goes. Let's see if the ball comes back left. Let's see. Now back looks left. Guns. Okay, guns left. Can we mark that as a tendency or a habit? We'll see. Right now, I'm leaning more towards a habit. It could be the way he was taught. Either way, it's something that I'm going to look at through further film to see if what it really is. I'm going to continue watching to see if it's exactly what I think it is, and make a decision based off that. And you can see also the linebacker now. Look at him. It must be a passing down because now his stance is not as aggressive. He's belling. He's out. Right. Running back, flat foot, not getting the ball. Right. These are that basement level tendency I talk about looking for. The tendencies and those habits. And here's another pass play. Let's see. Let's read. Linebacker's a little bit more grounded stance. He's coming for it regardless. This probably was a call to be a blitz. He's just laid on it. But he's totally aggressive in his stance to come downhill hard on this. And he doesn't read the key. He's just going. So that's a tendency. That's a habit of these linebackers that play for this team. Running back again. I'm not threatening for him to get the ball. I'm just not reading his body language and his key. Not threatening at all. Now let's watch the quarterback again and see if I'm right with the looking. Right, so he looks right and goes left. Now I'm starting to lean more towards a habit. Right now I'm starting to lean towards a habit. The more as I watch this as a defensive coach, I'm going to be like, okay, hey, if he looks right, he's coming down hard left. Right. If he ends looking a certain way, he's coming opposite. Right. I'm playing with that and thinking about that and watch more film and seeing if that's a tendency. So yeah, that's the art of film study. We want to find the competitive advantage for our players, right? We want to find what makes them tick, what makes the other team tick, and how we can exploit anything for our advantage. We want the advantage every game, and it starts with getting to the basement level of this and understanding the concept of how this all works. Yeah, that's film study. You got any questions, reach out to Coach Davis. I can walk you through. I'll do a film study session with you. I don't mind. I love it. So, yeah.